Sarah Chen pulled her coat tighter as rain pounded the evening streets. Her shift at the diner had run late, and her 3 daughters were waiting at home. Emma was 16 now, old enough to watch her younger sisters, but Sarah still hated leaving them alone. At 51, every joint ached. The tips tonight had been decent, but not enough. Never enough. That's when she saw him. An elderly man stood at the bus stop, drenched and shivering. He looked to be in his 70s, wearing a soaked suit that had once been expensive. He leaned heavily on a cane, his face pale with exhaustion. Sarah should have kept walking. She was already late. But something about the way he stood there, alone and vulnerable, made her stop. "Sir, are you all right?" He looked up, startled. "Just waiting for the bus. Seems to be running late." "The evening routes are canceled," Sarah said gently. "Storm knocked out power on the east side. Won't be running until morning." The man's face fell. "Oh, I didn't know. Where do you live?" "Riverside District. But it's quite far. I'll manage somehow." Riverside was 40 minutes in the opposite direction from Sarah's apartment. She thought of her girls waiting, of the leftover pasta she needed to heat up, of the bills spread across her kitchen table. Then she thought of her own father, who died alone in a hospital because she'd been too busy to visit that week. "Get in," Sarah said, gesturing to her old Honda. "Let me take you home. I couldn't possibly—" "You'll catch pneumonia standing here. Please, I insist." The man hesitated, then nodded. "You're very kind. I'm William Crawford, Sarah Chen." William moved slowly, his cane slipping on wet pavement. Sarah took his arm, steadying him as they walked to her car. She helped him into the passenger seat, trying not to notice how worn her upholstery was, how the check engine light glowed on the dashboard. "I apologize for the inconvenience," William said as Sarah started driving. "I had a doctor's appointment. My driver was supposed to collect me, but he called in sick. I thought I could manage the bus. No apology needed. Everyone needs help sometimes." They drove in comfortable silence for a while. Then William spoke again. "You have children?" Sarah smiled. 3 daughters. Emma's 16, the twins Lily and Grace just turned 14. They're home waiting for me. And you stopped anyway, to help a stranger. My father used to say we're only as good as how we treat people who can't do anything for us. William was quiet. Your father was wise. When they reached the address William gave, Sarah's breath caught. The house was a mansion. Security gates, manicured grounds, the kind of place that had its own name. "This is you?" "Yes. I know it's excessive. My late wife chose it. I've been rattling around in there alone since she passed 3 years ago." William looked at her. "Would you come in, just for a moment? I'd like to give you something for the gas. That's not necessary, please. Allow an old man to show gratitude." Against her better judgment, Sarah pulled through the gates. Inside, the mansion was beautiful but cold. Expensive furniture, but no warmth. No family photos, no life. William disappeared into another room. When he returned, he held an envelope. "Please, take this." Sarah opened it and gasped. $500 in cash. "Mr. Crawford, I can't accept this. I just gave you a ride. You did more than that. You saw someone who needed help and you stopped. In my experience, that's rare." His eyes were kind but sad. "Please, I have more money than I'll ever need and no one to spend it on. Let me do this small thing." Sarah thought of her daughters, of the electric bill due tomorrow, of Emma needing new shoes. "Thank you," she whispered. "This means more than you know." The next morning, Sarah was making breakfast when someone knocked. A man in a suit stood on her doorstep. "Sarah Chen?" "Yes, I'm Robert Morrison, attorney for William Crawford. May I come in?" Sarah's heart dropped. Had something happened to William? Mr. Morrison sat at her kitchen table, pulling out papers. "Mr. Crawford passed away last night, peacefully in his sleep." "Oh, no." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "I just saw him. He seemed fine. He'd been ill for some time, heart condition. The doctors said it could happen any day." Mr. Morrison looked at her carefully. "Before he went to bed, Mr. Crawford changed his will. He left you something." "What? We just met yesterday." "I know, but he was quite insistent." Mr. Morrison slid papers across the table. "He's left you his house, the mansion in Riverside, paid in full, no mortgage, plus a trust fund of $2 million for your daughter's education and care." Sarah couldn't breathe. That's impossible. Why would he? He told me something last night. He said that for 3 years he'd been alone in that house, wondering if anyone would notice if he died. He'd stopped going to his doctor appointments because what was the point? Yesterday, he decided to go one last time. When the bus didn't come, he was going to walk home in the rain and let whatever happened happen. Mr. Morrison's voice softened. Then you stopped, a stranger with every reason to keep driving. You helped him without expecting anything in return. He said it reminded him that kindness still exists, that he'd been wrong to give up. But he died anyway, Sarah whispered. He did, but he died knowing someone cared. That matters more than you might think. Mr. Morrison stood. The house is yours. The trust is established. Mr. Crawford's only request was that you fill that empty mansion with the family and love it's been missing. 3 months later, Sarah stood in the kitchen of her new home, watching her daughters laugh in the backyard. The mansion didn't feel cold anymore. It felt alive. Emma was helping her sisters plant a garden. They'd filled the walls with photos, added color and warmth and noise. Sarah thought of William often, of one kind act that had changed everything, of a lonely old man who'd given her family a future because she'd given him 20 minutes in the rain. She'd learned his story from his lawyer. William had built a successful company but lost his wife and son in an accident. He'd spent 3 years in that mansion alone, waiting to die. One act of kindness had reminded him life was worth living, and in return, he'd given Sarah and her daughters a life beyond their dreams. Sarah wiped her eyes and smiled. Her father had been right. We're only as good as how we treat people who can't do anything for us. Sometimes those people can do more than we ever imagined. And sometimes kindness is its own reward, even when it comes with a mansion attached. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it with someone who needs a reminder that small acts of kindness can change lives in ways we never expect. Subscribe for more stories about compassion and second chances. And comment about a time you helped a stranger. Sometimes 20 minutes in the rain can mean everything.